Hey everyone, it's Brandon here again for another video. I know I haven't made a video directly talking to you guys for a while, and at this point, I mean it's probably been like a couple months almost, and I decided tonight's the night, and I've got some stuff I want to share. This is gonna be a personal sort of video where I'm just gonna reflect on kind of what's going on in my life, what I've been working on, the things I've been going through. I think there will be some sort of life lessons, more or less, to be found in here, or at least that you can find. So, hopefully that can give you some value for watching this. But I really just want to take this time. I've been reflecting more on how my life has been going recently, and it's made me look back even more into the past and see a lot of common, like, repeating patterns. And I think the number one pattern is that no matter what success you look for or what thing you try to achieve, the thing itself will not bring you lasting fulfillment alone. And this is kind of a hard realization to swallow. It's not even that much of an advanced thing to realize, because I think we all know, if we look close enough to our lives, if we really take a fine-tooth comb and pick through what happens to us in life, there's never one thing you get or achieve, even if it's like family, spiritual endeavors, career endeavors, money, travel. There's never one thing that's going to solve life for you, to where life is never going to be problematic or something like that. At the same time, I think it's really easy for us, if we reflect honestly on our lives, to see that there is truth in what I just said there, that we don't find lasting fulfillment in something, accomplishment, action, passion, hobby. None of them will do it all for us, no matter what thing we choose to spend our time on. I think a lot of us can probably see that, but at the same time, I think it's really easy to get seduced into this idea that if we just change things a little bit, or maybe a lot, in a certain direction, or maybe in a few directions, maybe you set up a bunch of new habits that are healthy and you feel more energetic or something, and you try to get a better career position for yourself, or you get in a great relationship with someone, a romantic relationship, or you go on a meditation retreat and have a transformative experience, or the list goes on. If we get seduced by the idea of this thing is going to really make the difference for us, and it's like the more that time goes on, I start to realize there isn't some solution. And I've been falling a lot more into alignment with sort of Taoist principles lately. This way of looking at life as if you surrender to the flow and the natural course of things for yourself. And I think a lot of the time when we pick out this one thing that I can do to change my life, or a few things, like I said, it's not just going to be one thing for everyone. But when we find this idea that we're going to somehow solve life for ourselves, even in a small sense, we're being tricked. We're being tricked into the same old pattern where we think what we do now is going to be our salvation from the problems, whether it be, suffering, misery, dissatisfaction, pain, sorrow, all the negative stuff in life. we aren't necessarily going to find some equation of the right actions and the right beliefs, or any combination of things. You're never going to find that perfect bulletproof solution that fixes everything. And I've really been wondering lately what direction I want to take my life in. Right now, I work as like a lower middle type manager at a restaurant. It's a corporate restaurant. And that is unfulfilling in and of itself in a lot of ways, or there are things that are less than ideal with that position at times that I can see. But I realize looking back, it's the same with pretty much anything else I've ever done. Now, spirituality was probably the main thing that seemed to go different at first. It seemed like if I really make significant spiritual progress for myself, if I change my relationship to experience itself, and if I level up my inner stability and peace and insight and all of these things and become more wise, if I really work on that spiritual domain, that will be what fixes it for me. And what I found was that when I finally started to really make ground what felt like great progress for myself spiritually, I started to realize that even that thing which I thought was in some way or another going to be better long term than all the other games we play in life, career, family, friends, sex, money, you know, I thought spirituality will do it. And I realized when you actually make spiritual progress, you establish a new baseline of understanding and a new way of perceiving reality, and just going through your life that maybe even feels better. That becomes your new norm. There's a concept in like psychology, neurology, this sort of idea that there is a tread, or what is it called? It's like, I think it's a, I want to say dopaminergic treadmill, but I know that's not the actual phrase. But it's the idea that dopamine, as one of our main neurotransmitters, when we're in the pursuit of a goal, it will, rise, and it will give us feelings of, satisfaction, just positive emotion. Dopamine in the right amount is going to correlate with positive emotion. But there's a problem. As soon as you achieve a goal, that activity that was leading to supposedly some better mental states and eternal emotional states and all of that from this chemical process in us as human beings, as that was improving toward the achieving of the goal, once the goal is achieved, and I'm sure if you reflect on your life and you think back on a goal that you thought, or an achievement that you thought would really make the difference for you, once you got there in that moment, maybe even the moment felt great. Sometimes the moment feels empty because you realize right then and there that it wasn't what you needed. It wasn't what was going to solve your problems. But when you get to the achievement, the goal, and it's fulfilled, that chemical process in your brain starts all over again, and you'll be on another path to build back up toward. Okay, it was called the hedonic treadmill. That's what that concept is, but it's focused around dopamine as one of our main neurotransmitters. It's our pleasure reward chemical, and it just works with anything that we pursue in life. It rises as we work toward goals. And I'm just realizing now in my life, I might not be able to find a goal that will stop this process. And I think the process of human dissatisfaction, uh, this perpetual fight that we're in with life, where we want things to be a little bit different, a little bit better, or maybe a lot different or a lot better. Um, Maybe we don't win this fight. And that's a strange thing to think of because so much of our culture and society and human nature is geared to make us fight for something new, make us move towards something better. And this process of moving towards something better never ends. Um, and coming to a place where I started to realize spiritual progress for myself and feel the difference to a pretty deep degree at times, that showed me that even the thing that I put at the top of my list of wise things to focus on, of things that will make the difference in my life, once I started to get sort of success in that area, I realized that even that area itself is empty of the ability to forever solve our problems. And maybe it doesn't sound like that much of a surprise that, you know, nothing in life is going to just fix life forever for you. But I think a lot of us, if we look at our lives, we're going to see that we're stuck in this process of being seduced by new goals, new desires, and that's why this more Taoist principle of surrendering to whatever process is going to take place for your life, and trying to become one with that. Um, it's been powerful for me because I realize now, like, thinking of the things that I wanted to do to become successful, or the things that I used to work on and care about. Like starting from a young age, I wanted to like get better at like video games I played, for example. And that was actually a lot of fun. One of the most purely enjoyable things of my life was my video game addiction as a kid. And of course, sitting around playing video games forever won't be a bulletproof fix to your problems and what life is going to throw at you. Beyond that, I also did pretty well in school, in high school, and I thought, okay, maybe academics will work out for me. And, it when I had any success in that area, that never really gave me any true lasting fulfillment. And quickly, then at the end of my high school career, you could say, or just the high school path, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features. And that was a huge moment, changing and defining moment of my life, because that meant that for the next 8 or so years, I would be on a journey to find ways to manage this state that my brain naturally functions in, this different way that I'm going to relate to reality that throws a lot of extra hurdles toward me with both mania and depression and medication side effects and a whole host of things. And the spiritual journey for me was completely integral. It was paramount to fixing that huge problem that bipolar disorder gave to me. And I feel like I've finally now made a great amount of progress with that, now like 9 years away from my diagnosis. But to the point where I no longer have to take medication and I'm not having episodes. And even if I do have episodes, they are much lesser than what they used to be, much easier to handle. But even fixing bipolar disorder, that problem for myself, wasn't the answer of what would do it for me in life. It wasn't what was going to solve everything, even though it was a big part of what needed to be done. You could look at that as a sort of success, getting to the point where you can, in a healthy way, not in an unmeasured and sporadic way, go off your medications and actually find more stability with it. Like with my mental disorder, how severe it was, that's a huge thing that not many people can say or manage to do for themselves, is to find a way to be free from constantly being on medications that usually will degrade your quality of life in a number of ways. Some of the medications I was on literally give people different variations of diabetes, like 25% of people or something. Like if you take this medication long enough, like a big portion of people will get types of diabetes. And there's just a host of side effects when we're putting these really powerful chemicals, like these pharmaceuticals, into our bodies on a consistent basis. It's not an only positive thing, of course, but coming to success with that didn't solve things for me. Becoming a landlord and having passive income to a degree didn't solve things for me. It was a good goal in the meantime, and when I was pursuing it, I thought it would make a difference. I thought it would really change things in some fundamental way to have passive income so I could have more time, and in a lot of ways it was good. All of these things that I've worked on in my life, they do improve things in a certain sense, but not in the ultimate sense that I'm talking about. Not in this overarching meta sort of way that I'm trying to look at life now, where we're not going to solve our problems and our lives with piecemeal solutions from different areas, different endeavors. They just won't do it. Even a great combination of them, in my opinion, will not do it. That's not what this life is for some reason. It seems like it. We're not meant to be in permanent paradise here. And I think that might be one of the greatest lessons that I've learned, is that maybe it is a good thing that the struggle that we find in life is here. Maybe it's a blessing that we have our lives go the way that they do. Having that sort of an outlook on life does lend itself to the Taoist sort of perspectives I was talking about earlier. This idea that we're not going to solve it for ourselves, that life itself is going to have a changing tide, which brings new challenges day in and day out, or maybe even the challenges subside for a season, even a number of years. Life will bring back more to challenge you, I think, is the reasoned and accurate position, is that life will bring more to challenge you, no matter what you do. And when you realize that you're helpless to stop this process of life bringing more at you, I think at a certain point you can kind of sit there and say, okay, if this is a never-ending process, at least for the amount of time that I'm here in this configuration of direct experience as a human being, at least if that's going to take place, I can invite it, and I can be part of it willingly, and I can see that this is the way things seem to be structured, and I'm going to accept that. I'm going to embrace it, even. I think the embracing of our difficulties and challenges, not just embracing difficulties so you can go through the hard stuff to get some reward. No, embracing that the entire system that we are in as a human being set to experience life, that itself isn't something that has a solution. Maybe it never needed a solution. Maybe there was never a problem with any part of it whatsoever. Your whole life, all of the ups and downs, the achievements, the disappointments, the failures, everything in between, down to the last blade of grass, the last breath of air, down to the last speck of dust that took place in your life, maybe not a single part of it was problematic or out of place. That's an interesting idea to think about. It's an interesting thing to try to embrace, right? Right now I'm thinking too, like, another thing I tried to do was like YouTube. Like I started making YouTube videos, like in-person YouTube videos, way years ago. Like I made video game content, which, you know, all those have been deleted now. I don't even have access to any of those old videos of me like playing RuneScape and stuff like that. But for, I don't know, it's been about 8-9 years now that I've been on YouTube in this sort of format, and I thought, like, back when I was starting YouTube that, okay, I'm just gonna make, you know, one video a day, like, and, you know, put effort into it, and I'm gonna build it up, and I'm gonna make my own money and have freedom from that, and I won't have to work a traditional job. And it's like, could I have gotten to that point? Yeah. Part of the problem was, I think, in the process of working toward that goal, I realized that maybe the goal wouldn't even be what I want. What was necessary to do to become like a full-time paid YouTuber that makes a decent living and in a convenient way, so to speak. Not even a convenient way, just a different way. There's a lot of stuff that comes with that I'm not a fan of as well. I think, you know, it's just funny, but I bring up the YouTube thing because, you know, sure, it's one more example of like something I tried, something I thought that would change things for me, make a difference, and solve life to a degree, when it ultimately didn't. Did it bring some perks and nice things? Did I meet some cool people? Yeah, I'm actually really happy that I've, you know, done this stuff on YouTube. Although I've not taken it seriously and done it, you know, according to the algorithm's preferences and, you know, really done it like a normal person on YouTube. My YouTube channel is just kind of a different style. I don't put the same type of like editing and, you know, thumbnails and stuff as like people typically do. Of course, you know that if you've been on my channel for a while. It's a different style of making videos. And I like making them in this sort of style that I've done it in the past. But the reason I brought the YouTube up, other than just being another example of an endeavor that didn't permanently satisfy me and fix things, is because at the beginning of my YouTube career, I thought about, or my YouTube journey, I'm not going to call it career, but at the beginning of that, I thought about what my life purpose was, and I have a video from about 8 years ago now that you can still see on my channel where I talk about what I think my life purpose is, and I said at the time, essentially, that my life purpose that I found for myself would be to go out and try to live the very best life for myself possible, and to try to improve my life, and then to come back and teach other people how to do the same. And now, 8, almost 9 years later, I'm seeing that although that was a great thing back in the day for me to think of as a life purpose, and in a lot of ways, I've kind of stuck true to that sentiment all these years. But now that I look back, I think I was coming at it with the perspective that I could win one over on life, on human existence itself, and then I could teach people how to do the same. And man, is that an incredibly arrogant position, especially for like an 18 or 19-year-old kid to have. Um, Maybe give me 30 or 40 more years, and I'll be able to take a small crack at that for someone and make a small difference that is still significant and reliable, like a reliable change in someone's life. Um, Maybe then I'll be able to do that, right? Is an idea. But I think it's a bigger endeavor than I pictured because I didn't foresee that there were going to be such a relentless amount of new minor and moderate and severe challenges that would come to me. And I wasn't prepared for what life was going to bring, in a sense. I had no idea. I was ignorant and arrogant as a kid. And still now, as a 27-year-old, I'll say that I most likely am still very ignorant and arrogant, even in the positions I hold now. And I hope that in the future, I'll be able to look back at this point in my life and say, yes, I had it wrong then. I figured out things a little bit more. But I still thought I knew to. I still had the position of thinking I knew more than I really did. I think that would make me happy to see that even now, in the present moment, the culmination of my 27 years on this planet, I still didn't have it figured out. Thought that I did to a certain extent. And there's a sort of beauty in this. There's a sort of beauty in this way that life seems to work, that we are just stuck in this dance that life is going to lay out before us. And how we respond to the dance isn't even completely of our choosing, but we get to sort of play the part of in this dance with life. And we really don't know where it's going to go. We don't know what it will lead to. We don't know really for certain what it's all about. And a lot of the time, we don't know what we should do even in the moment to try to move anything forward. And I think there's a beauty to this sort of mysterious element of life that you really cannot win one over on the life that you're living now. You can only be that life. You can only experience that life. And you can only be one with that life. And watch that life, your own direct experience, play itself out in whatever fashion it does. And you will be a part of how it plays out. You won't be the whole of how it plays out, but you'll be an important part, in a sense. And I think for myself at least, and maybe for you if this seems to make sense as an idea to take on, I think I'm going to look at life and allow it to amaze me with whatever it brings next. Whether it be a challenge, whether it be a success, whether it be something bland in between that you're just kind of indifferent toward. I mean, I'm just ready to see where life is going to go next. I don't know what I want to do for a career that would be perfect for me. I'm not sure what I want to do with that. I'm not sure what I want to do with this spiritual path I'm on anymore. I'm not sure if I want to live in the same, city that I'm in now. I'm not sure about almost anything, really, other than the fact that I'm here right now recording a video to whoever out there that I don't know who's going to watch this. And all I'll say is that I hope these ideas gave something to you that maybe at least was entertaining, maybe at least was a little bit thought provoking for yourself. And with that, I think I'm just going to end it here. So, if you guys want to see more content from me, go ahead and subscribe, do the normal YouTube stuff, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and click the notification bell icon if you want to see all of my uploads as little notifications on your phone that will probably come in at inconvenient times at some point in the process. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.